All right, welcome to our explainers. So you want to build an amazing school, right? Forget the dusty textbooks written by guys who haven't seen a real classroom since the invention of chalk. Today, we're taking notes from some seriously unexpected mentors. We're talking a home builder, a pro gamer, a football coach, and even a farmer who turned a failing farm into a total paradise. This is leadership, but not as you know it. Yeah, I know. It sounds like the setup to a really weird joke, doesn't it? A gamer, a chef, and a farmer walk into a school. But this is the exact question that got a principal named Kuya Dalemi thinking. A decade-long PhD student, so you know he loves questions. His colleagues said he was an out-of-the-box thinker, which I think is code for we think he's a little nuts. He went out and interviewed over 200 experts in fields that have nothing to do with education, all to figure out one thing. What's the secret sauce of excellence? And from those 200 interviews, he pulled out 5 absolute rock stars to be our mentors. First, the home builder, who teaches us to build things that last. Then, the restaurant chef. This guy could make a $1,000 meal from fridge leftovers. Talk about quality. We've got the football coach, who knows how to build a winning team from the ground up. The eSports pro, who teaches us to adapt at lightning speed. And my favorite, the smart farmer, who teaches us how to build an environment so amazing, success just shows up on its own. So that's what we're going to do today. We are going to build this 5-pointed star of excellence, piece by piece. We'll grab a lesson from each of these mentors and put together a blueprint for a school that doesn't just work, but truly shines. Ready? Let's do it. Okay, first point of the star, bam, the solid foundation. This comes straight from our home builder friend. The lesson is brutally simple. If your foundation is cracked, the whole beautiful building you put on top of it is going to come crashing down. No exceptions. So what does this look like in a school? Well, you wouldn't build a house without a blueprint, right? That's your curriculum and your operational plan. It has to be crystal clear. Next, you hire your contractors. That's your staff. You got to vet them properly. You need the best. Then you need strong contracts. And I don't just mean paper, I mean clear expectations for everyone, teachers, students, parents. And finally, quality control. You got to check for cracks constantly. A dip in test scores, a weird vibe in the teacher's lounge. You find it and you fix it fast. All right, foundation's in place. It's solid, it's stable. But a building just sits there. To win, you need a game plan. You need to be dynamic. And for that, we bring in our next 2 mentors, the football coach and the eSports pro. These guys live and breathe strategy. Now, to understand modern strategy, we've got to borrow a word from the gaming world. The word is meta. The meta is basically the best way to win right now. In a video game, the meta can change overnight with a new software update. Whoosh! And suddenly, the strategy that won you the championship last week is totally useless. The meta in education changes too. New tech, new research, new kinds of students. If you're still using last year's meta, you're already losing. And this is where it gets really interesting. A pro gamer has to adapt to the meta to survive. A school has to adapt its curriculum and teaching methods for the exact same reason. Pro gamers also have something called shot calling. That's making a split-second decisive call that changes the whole game. What is that for a principal? That's crisis communication during a lockdown. What is it for a teacher? It's realizing your lesson is a total dud and pivoting on the spot to something that actually works. It's the same skill. You read the room, you adapt, and you execute. Boom. So we've got our solid building and we've got our winning playbook. Awesome, but both of those are useless without an amazing team. And this brings us to the hardest part of any job, people. Because people, well, they're your greatest superpower and also your greatest risk. Now this quote should send a chill down every leader's spine. It describes the ultimate nightmare scenario, a culture so toxic that your best people run for the exits and the people who are left have just given up. It's a quiet poison that kills motivation and ultimately the entire school. And the source of this poison often comes down to a nasty little thing psychologists call the dark triad. As a leader, you've got to become a detector for this stuff. Narcissism, that's the department head who steals every good idea and takes all the credit. Machiavellianism, that's the colleague who spreads rumors to get ahead. And psychopathy, that's the scariest one. A total lack of empathy for a struggling kid or a burned out colleague. These aren't just personality quirks, they are culture killers. So your job is to spot the red flags before it's too late. Is there a lot of backstabbing? A culture where everyone just blames everyone else? Is gossip the main form of communication? Are your most passionate, creative teachers suddenly getting shut out? These are not small things. These are giant, flashing warning signs that your culture is in serious trouble. Okay, that was a little dark, I know. So, if that's the problem, what's the antidote? How do you create a place where great people actually want to be? Well, for that, we turn to our wisest mentor of all, the smart farmer. Let that one sink in for a second. It's absolutely brilliant. See, a toxic manager tries to chase people down, trying to squeeze work out of them. They chase the bees. But a great leader, they don't chase anything. They focus on building an incredible garden, a supportive, vibrant, nourishing culture. And when you do that, the bees, the talent, the passion, the creativity, they just come to you. Because a smart farmer knows you're not just growing crops, you are cultivating an entire ecosystem. A school is the same thing. It's not just teachers and students, it's parents, it's alumni, it's the local businesses, the whole community. When you nurture all those connections, you create this incredibly rich soil where amazing things can't help but grow. Okay, team, we've collected the wisdom, we've heard from the builder, the gamers, the coach, and the farmer. Now it's time to put it all together. Let's assemble our 5-pointed star of excellence. Point 1, from our home builder, a solid foundation. This is your rock, your clear plans, your amazing people, and your fair rules that everyone understands. Point 2, from our coach and gamer, a winning strategy. This is your ability to see the meta, to adapt on the fly, and to make the tough calls when it matters most. Point 3, a resilient team. This is about protecting your people from that dark triad toxicity. It's about creating a place that fosters real emotional and social growth. You know, like the story of psychologist Sarah Blooming, who was terrified of public speaking, but in the right environment, she worked on it, grew, and bam, now she's a keynote speaker. Ding, that's the growth you're aiming for. Point 4, from our smart farmer, a thriving ecosystem. This is your beautiful garden. The culture that attracts and keeps the best people and fosters a true sense of community. And the final point, the 5th point of our star, is continuous development. Inspired by the chef who never stops perfecting a recipe, and the gamer who never stops practicing, this is about always learning, always growing, and always getting better, together. And there it is, the complete star. A solid foundation, a winning strategy, a resilient team, a thriving ecosystem, and a passion for continuous growth. The goal here isn't to be a perfect farmer or a pro gamer. It's to use these ideas as a lens to look at your own work, your own team, your own school. So the real question isn't what the perfect star looks like. The question is, what does your star look like? And which point will you start building tomorrow?